Good morning and welcome to this week's Sunday Drop-In with Croes-y-Parc Chapel. Now we call this taking some time out to pause and reflect. And so we're going to start by thinking about what do we hear in the silence.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. Do you know why we had the Second World War? This isn't QI. You won't get docked 10 points for coming up with the obvious answer. But you'll still be wrong. It really came down to poor German engineering. As early as 1929, 10 years before it kicked off, one of Hitler's henchmen decided to kill him. So he constructed a bomb with a remote control device and put the bomb under the platform Hitler was going to speak from. But poor engineering saved Hitler. Not the bomb, that was perfect. But the would-be assassin had a few minutes to kill, so he decided to visit the loo. And he was trapped inside by a faulty lock which jammed. He couldn't get to the detonator. You know why we won the Battle of Waterloo? We won it because there was an incompetent doctor on the other side. Napoleon's physician won us the Battle of Waterloo. He didn't mean to, but he came close to poisoning Bonaparte with laudanum. It's based on opium, and he gave him far too much of it. As a result, Napoleon is wandering around in a terrible state, and the battle starts without him, several hours later than he'd intended. He's unable to even sit on a horse. He can't personally direct his troops, and the rest, as they say, is history. You've probably noticed the connection between these events. Here we have world history being changed by trivial acts of incompetence. Ordinary people having a profound effect through actions which would normally be inconsequential. But just as trivial oversights can make a huge difference, so actually doing the small stuff right can have the same effect. Archbishop Desmond Tutu only took an interest in Christianity because of the actions of one man. As a child, he was walking along the pavement with his mother. It was normal in South Africa for Africans to get off the pavement when a white person came towards them. A white vicar came towards Tutu and his mother, and this vicar stepped out into the road so the black people wouldn't have to. It made an enormous impression on Tutu. He asked his mother who that man was, and she told him, "That is a minister of God." One of the great movers and shakers of Christianity in the 20th century was Albert McMakin. He was big on doing the trivial things too. He was so keen to get one guy to an evangelistic meeting, he gave this young man an incentive. McMakin let him drive his truck to it. That guy was Billy Graham. He came to faith at this meeting and later led millions of others to faith. One guy doing a simple thing, and it has an impact like that. Truth is, we can do small stuff like that and maybe never even see a result. But here's the point. We are not responsible for what flows from our small acts of Christian love. We may never see any fruit from them, but we are responsible for doing them. Many God-given opportunities are wasted because they are not identified as such. And the reason for that is this illogical belief that God himself is not concerned with little things. That isn't scriptural. Jesus actually spent much of his time tending to the needs of others, which were absolutely trivial on the global scale. For example, healing the Apostle Peter's mother-in-law when she had the flu. And he spent much of his time preaching to people he already knew wouldn't listen. But he still gave them the chance, didn't he? And he even found time for the thief on the cross. You know what? If I was nailed naked to a tree, if I was in the process of carrying the burden of every sin ever committed, if I was in mental, spiritual and physical agony, I wouldn't allow myself to get sucked into a conversation with a guy on the next cross. I wouldn't care. I'd be too concerned about my own situation. But that's Jesus for you, isn't it? Last thing he did before the resurrection was a trivial act of kindness. The guy who'd preached to thousands took time out from his own not inconsiderable problems to put another dying man at peace. That is the standard. Stay safe and God bless.
Jesus, you have called us. Come, follow me. Take up your cross, deny yourself, and live. Jesus,
As always, we hope you'll be with us again next Sunday for another Drop-In with Croes-y-Parc Chapel. Until then, God bless.